You know, I wanted a bird bath for our garden, and the problem was I wanted two of them. I wanted one for out here and then one for my doves in the aviary. So, you know, I could buy one for about $35 or something like that. That wasn't too bad, but then two of them was $70, and that was more than I was willing to spend. So I decided to make one. The other problem was the only ones I could find were really short. They were about this high, and it's just that flower bowl was all you could get. It's real deep and it's hard to clean out. This one, it's got a shallow bowl. It's very easy to clean out. I'll show you how to do that at the end of the video. And but it's made out of concrete. We build the form, we pour the form, and then show you how to place it. All right, let's get in the shop and get started. This is a piece of OSB. I would have used a piece of plywood if I had some, but this is all I had. This will probably not do great, you know, with the water from the concrete, but this is what I'm going to use. And I want my finished bird bath to be 26 inches in diameter. So this board is 2 inches wider on both sides, so it's actually 28 inches square. And so I'm going to start out by making an octagon pieces to hold the bottom. And so I just got on my phone and I looked up an octagon calculator, and it told me that the sides of the octagon should be basically 11 5/8. So the next thing I'm going to do is take this 2x4 and I'm going to get it cut to 11 5/8 pieces. With the ends are going to need to be 22.5 degrees, and that's what you need in order to build an octagon. All right, here we go. Alright, I got all the pieces cut and I've got them laid around. Got a little gap right here. It's probably my angles aren't exactly right, but I'll get that figured out in a little bit. But the next thing I want to do is I want to put a little bit of a bevel on here to make this so it's not straight down here. Kind of like for pattern draft, like we've talked about when we're doing a mold, but also just to kind of ease that corner a little bit. So now I'm going to go over to the table saw and I'm going to cut an angle off on the inside edges of these. Let's get our bevel cut on there. So now that bevel is going to go like that, so it's opening out this way. Now let's start laying these around and see what we get. You know, the only thing that's important about these is the inner edge. The rest of this out here isn't going to impact the concrete mold at all. Alright, so I'm going to start getting these put down. And I kind of played with it a little bit. I'm going to kind of mark one out here, but kind of right in the middle. I'm going to start off of that. And I've got some construction adhesive that I'm going to use, some liquid nails, because it's waterproof. And hopefully it'll help hold this thing together over time. We'll see. And it'll should kind of act like caulk and help seal it just a little bit. Woogie that adhesive around a little bit, and then I'm going to sneak it off the edge and come up under it with a stapler. Okay, now I got a little bit of a problem here. My last one's too short, so I can't go fix them all, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut another one that's the right length and stick it in there. Alright, so that's got that last piece cut, and it wound up having to be about 1/8 of an inch longer than the other ones. and then I just kept trimming off a little bit more until I got it exactly right. And this gap, my angle's not great right here, but it doesn't matter because that's going to be covered up. So I'll just get that last one put down. Alright, so I think I'm pretty happy with that. I think I'm going to go ahead and flip it over and get some more staples in it. Okay, so then next I want to come back this way and do another one, put another layer on here. Alright, I want these next boards to be 2 inches wide. Now I'm going to take the rest of this adhesive and I'm going to use it like caulk to fill my voids and kind of round out these corners a little bit. These are the 4 pieces that make up our column, and it is 5.5 inches square. So these are 5.5 inches, and these are 5.5 inches plus 1.5 inches, because when we put these on, it'll shrink that side down to be the same. So the next thing I need to do is get some countersunk holes along the side in order to screw these pieces to these other pieces. So I'm just taking a pair of calipers set to 3/8 of an inch and I'm running them down the edge. If I didn't have this, I could mark 3/8 of an inch and then put a straight edge on here like a ruler and mark it with a line. Now I'm going to come in 2 inches and put the first screw, and then every 6 inches, well, I think I'll do every 4. The next thing I need to do is rip the triangle pieces that go on each side that chamfer off the edges of the pillar. So I'm going to get that done on the table saw. I've got my blade laid over to a 45-degree angle, and so I'm going to go ahead and start ripping these off. I need 4 of them. Alright, so I've got our triangle pieces cut to length, and so we're going to lay them in here. This is going to be a little tricky to get these nailed down. Alright, so that's got one done. I'm going to do the same thing to the other one. Alright, we got the 2 halves done with our triangle pieces on there, and so now I'm going to go ahead, I think, and put the sides on. Now, that's got it screwed together temporarily. Alright, so these next pieces, we don't have to miter these next corners that we're going to be doing, because the only thing that's going to count is the inside, and it's going to come to a corner. So, alright, so this side is 7, this side should be 7, so it's 7 inches all the way around, so we'll have to do 2 pieces that are 7 inches long and 2 pieces that are 10 inches long that will span across that. So I'm going to get those cut and I'll be right back. Alright, I got these pieces cut, and I'm just going to overhang them 1 inch down off the bottom, and that will give us a little bit of a relief here and kind of form the molding around the bottom of the post. Alright, so I'm just going to use this compass to make a line on all of these. Alright, I'm going to transfer these lines to the end. After I put them on there, it looks like it's going to be a whole lot easier. That way I can line them up like here on that edge and figure out where they go. Alright, that's got the first layer on. So now I'm going to do another layer, pretty much just like this. And then one that's wider. I'll probably use a 2x4 for the last one. And then our pedestal will be done. Alright, so now these, I just made them an inch wider. So it gives me an inch overhang down here. And so I'll just put these right on top of the other ones. Alright, now we'll make the last band for the outside. Like I used to always tell my son, it's a good thing we're not building cabinets because this thing's looking kind of ugly. But it doesn't matter what the outside looks like. Okay, so now we've got to get a piece across here and one on the other side. Alright, this one's going to be the last step. So I'm going to make it 1.5 inches. I want it to be a little thicker because if this thing gets hit, you know, when you drop it or whatever, if something's going to break off, it's going to be this piece. So I want to make it a little stouter. Okay, that's got this pretty much finished. Now, the last thing we've got to do, I see a little bit of glue right here. The last thing we've got to do is make a piece to go right on here, because when we pour this, we're actually going to pour it upside down. So this will be up in the air, and this will be the bottom, so we've got to put a piece of wood on here to plug this up. Alright, I think this will work. It's just a piece of rough lumber I haven't planed before. This is the board that goes on the bottom of our form when we're pouring it, but it's actually the top of the pedestal. And I've marked out the center point, and I've got a 3/8 drill bit in here, and I have set it so that when it goes all the way down, it's still, well, I thought I had. That's not good. Okay, there we go. So now when this goes all the way down, I've still got a 1/4 inch underneath this because I don't want to drill all the way through. I'm doing this because I want to put a piece of rebar in here so that it'll stick out the top about like that. And that'll give me something to, I'm going to put a hole in the bottom of the little hole, partial of the way through the bottom of the bird bath, and that way it'll give me something to set this on and know where center is.